Sweet. I love to see the live button Friday evening from Virginia Beach, Virginia. For you guys that are new to the channel, welcome. It's great to have everybody here. The channel is still continuing to grow, I think, through referral. If you guys are new to the channel within the last couple weeks, I will let you know that the channel has been put on a plane for at least another month. That's just the way it's going to be. I will continue to offer the live streams as long as I can. It's really, really difficult. I'm giving myself this little hour and a half, which is about all I've got with what I've got going on right now with a project that I'm into, but I want to keep the fire stoked on the discussion. I know there's some folks in the group here that are joining potentially for the first time on referral, okay? And I just want to tell you, I understand everybody's fired up, and I'm going to tell you what you should be, okay? If you're an investor and you've been participating in this monumental upswing, I personally have never seen anything like it before. It's pretty amazing. That's typically the time when you want to start, taking note, all right? Don't get complacent on this stock market. I was talking to Travic here in the group who's made his way in here, just a loyal subscriber of the channel, come into the group, I think within the last 6 months or so. But I want to take this opportunity to walk some of the folks through my basic fundamentals of investing. And this is why investing is an infinite topic, okay? It's infinite. If you guys have got me coming through loud and clear, go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the community. Got a real robust group in here. I do apologize up front a little bit for the lack of frequency on the YouTube channel, okay? We are just in a phase of the channel right now. I shoot this video from my living room, okay? So make no mistake, guys. I do this to get the message across. Now, there's going to be folks that come through the channel and identify that I don't have all the best audio. I don't have all the best video. I don't get up here with a clown suit and start yelling and screaming about how great and plenty investing is. Here's the bottom dollar, okay? And I'm going to break it down to you very simple. You want to know what's sexy about investing? Money, all right? This game is about money, all right? You can come on and you can act a fool and you can blah, blah, this and that and tell everybody how great you are through the internet. But unless you can produce results in a money game, then you have no place on my channel, none. I don't care where you come from. I don't care about your ethnic background. I don't care about what you think your capability is. I don't care, all right? Because I can tell you right now, access to financial freedom is open to anybody, okay? Especially in America. America, you got to say it right. Now, there's folks that tune into the channel from all the way around the world, and they hit me up all the time talking about the different access to brokers. And I would love to start to stem a project off to understand the limits of entrance for our foreign viewers to the channel. I've got folks on from Australia, obviously from Europe, Canada, and all over the world. I've got some viewers from Ireland on the group here. So this is a worldwide message about building wealth, okay? But you have to understand that I think a lot of folks that are domiciled in the US either don't know how to do it or they take it for granted and they don't end up exploiting what it is that I like to uncover about investing and the opportunities that exist therein, all right? It can be a very, very confusing landscape when you're going about investing in the way that your friend has told you to do it, or maybe your caretakers have told you, or maybe generations past, whether it be, folks that you've grown up with. I can tell you that the investing landscape has changed so radically, okay, to where the message that is coming across right now is actually aimed at combating folks like me who are pushing out the truth about investing. And the truth is this, okay? There are products that exist to where if you can get your mind right and get your preparation schedule happened on this side of the line before you even invest in the stock market, if you can get that piece right and you can understand some fundamentals about having multiple buckets to your name, okay? Now you can scale this approach. It doesn't matter if you make $25,000 a year or if you make $250,000 a year. It does not matter, okay? It is relative. I know folks that come across the channel, especially from other countries that are now domiciled in the US, and they get it. They understand how important it is to take advantage of this opportunity. And I tell you, some of those folks that are making $25,000 a year and are rubbing pennies together, those make some of the best investors. You want to know why? They're hungry. All right. And that is a key element, along with a couple other things: good work ethic, a willingness to not only learn the fundamentals, but I know Travick popped in here. I got David Wilcox giving me a heads up from Seattle, one of my absolute favorite cities, man. Great to you. Hail to the Northwest, man. I miss home, certainly. But I'm going to allow the group to kind of come in here. But you guys really need to understand, if you can get some of these concepts down about how to tackle the stock market, you are going to understand and start to define for yourself the very, very distinguished difference between a self-directed program and a program that requires you to go in and subject your money to the plans that they have laid out through the financial planning institutions, okay? Now, those folks are spending billions of dollars on advertisement to bring your money in-house, okay? Now, it's very, very tempting. I've been there and I've done that, all right? I just launched last week my first blog website. We have secured the domain name selfdirectedinvesting.blog. Now, the site is under construction. I've kind of got some feelers out there to help me with the aesthetics of the website, but that's going to be a really interesting niche where I'm going to actually go on there and I'm going to account for my interaction through my life with financial brokers, all right? Being put into Class C shares, being put into high cost mutual funds. If there's been a mistake out there to make in the financial industry, I've made it. Been in hawk twice with the IRS. I can talk through some of those blog sites on this website. So I am very, very excited. Ironically, I'm really, really indisposed in a project that I need to complete. That will be completed in mid-May. So please stand by for that to be an alternative to the Facebook group that I offer, where we push a lot of solutions, whether it be short articles or stock information, stock list. There's a lot of folks on there that are free to post to the group, and that's really where the Facebook group has proved really, really, really useful for a lot of those members. We are approaching 1,000 members in the Facebook group. That project I've been really, really proud of. And I think the most valuable thing in that group for me personally is the relationships that I have with certain members of that Facebook group. I've got one of them in the group here. I always take time to point out the channel creators in the group here. I've got Riley Griffith in the group here. It's great to see you this evening. Thank you for coming in and helping me stoke the dialogue on financial savvy, okay? I can speak till I'm blue in the face, but really it takes a multitude of people to help me spread the word. I'm a firm believer that we can achieve far greater success as a group than I can ever achieve by myself. And I've seen that work many, many, many times. So thank you for you guys that have made your way into this community. The Independent Investor channel's been around for a couple years. There's around 13,000 that have made their way into the channel. Some have left the channel. Some have resonated with the message and are deploying the message and building wealth for themselves. Okay, for you guys that are doing just that, I applaud you. That's exactly the niche of this channel, is that you can really take this information and deploy it in your own lives. Remember, money doesn't discriminate, okay? It really doesn't. I'm not after those people who are self-deprecating and telling themselves over and over and over again that they cannot do it. I'm here to tell you that you can, and I'm living proof that you can. All right. So everybody, welcome to the group. Obviously, it's going to be kind of a celebration. I very rarely do this in the stock market, but I will say this on the channel openly. My program works, okay? I'm living proof of it. Now, what does that mean for subscribers to the group making their way into the channel for the first time? The success of a program is only weighed or measured against the success of the people who can take it, understand the information, deploy it, and find success for themselves, all right? It doesn't do squat to get onto YouTube and talk about a program if I'm the only one that can succeed doing it. Doesn't make any sense. And I'm self-aware enough to know that if this stuff didn't work, I would shut this channel off tomorrow. I've said this many, many times. I'm not a YouTuber, okay? I'm not. I don't do this for a living. I do it to basically borrow YouTube's capability to reach people that I would never, ever have the ability to reach. So if you're tuning into the message for the first time, I'm not going to say welcome this evening. I'm going to say congratulations, because you're making your way to information that I wish I had earlier on in life. I'm 41 years old right now. I'm approaching $500,000 net worth. But the thing about it is, I always talk about this in context of this. If you have the ability and you're one of those salary earners out there making $15,000 to $25,000 a year, I've been there, okay? So I can relate to you folks. If there's somebody in the audience, you're just as welcome as somebody that's coming in that's a high income earner. But if you're in between that income gap, all right, the idea is that you hear this message and you're like, you know what? I don't do anything. And I just listen to this guy on YouTube come in and tell me that I can do it, even though I make a few $1,000s a month, or I make $1,500 a month, whatever it is. But here's the deal. Instead of saying I can't, I'm going to look at the potential of maybe daring to say that I can. All right. If I've got $25 to piece out of my budget and put toward my retirement account, that's the very beginning. I said it this week to a colleague of mine at work that I was talking to. When you break the ice and you dare to take that first step in opening up your investment account, I'll be the first to applaud you, because you've probably taken the most difficult step to financial freedom that you'll ever take in your life. It's amazing, because most people justify their way out of it. They tell themselves over and over and over again how they can't do it. The ironic part about us as people is, if we tell ourselves that long enough, and it doesn't take very long to start to believe that we can't. And that's the unfortunate part about money. We hear those negative injects in our life. We hear them, and it seemingly validates that idea in our head that somehow we don't have the income that makes us eligible to become part of the elite community. To hell with the elite, all right? Forget it. Stop trying to aspire to what other people have, and look at your own program in what it is that you can do to parlay that little bit of money into your own program. Why do I have the credentials to say that? Because I've done it myself. I have done it myself. The very accounts that I started, these buckets here, were started with $25. And for you guys that can bridge the gap between justifying $0 to that first pay yourself initiative, I'll be the first to commend you. And this is really why we do the weekly live stream, so I can come on and I can provide the awareness to fundamental wealth building, okay? Some of the traditional lingo that we throw out there when we're talking about money and training and blah, blah, and all that crap, financial planning, I hate a lot of that lingo, because it carries with it somewhat of a negative connotation when we are talking about in the trenches wealth building. Ryan, give me a solution. Tell me an account that I can use M1 Finance, right? That I can take and I can invest in the stock market. Maybe I want to start my Roth IRA, all right? And that's why we roll out those solutions for you guys, to where if you want to enter into the stock market, you can buy stock passively. You can buy ETFs if that's your thing, passively. You can buy index funds passively, and you can enter into those products free of charge. This is the cutting edge aspect about investing that a lot of people don't realize now. I just heard a comment today from a colleague at work who was asking me about finance, of course, right? And the idea was, well, Ryan, the market's really high right now. I contend that it is. Okay, well, what does that mean? How do we assess the market now in its current condition to hopefully dictate which way we go, whether or not we invest or whether or not we don't invest? Okay, my solution, and for you guys that have been with me a long time, you know that I would say do both. Okay, but if you're going to be in sixth gear or you're going to be in first gear, where do you think the right gear is to be in with this stock market in its current condition? All right, I'm in second gear. Second, all right? My foot has been off the accelerator for a while. I'm making money right now where I can't even stop it. I'm making so much money. I'm becoming wealthy. Now, this is the euphoria stage, okay? Now, I don't know how long the euphoria stage is going to last, but I'm telling you that the indicators are there. They are there to really trap a lot of people in the market who are potentially overexposed, all right? So let's party tonight, all right? If you're out there and you want to crack a drink, go ahead. I can't, all right? But go ahead and have one on my behalf, please. Bourbon would be fine if you'd like to do that. That would be awesome. But I've got water this evening. No tea, no bourbon for me. But if you guys do, give yourself a pat on the back, okay? Because it's fair to acknowledge when you're enjoying some success in the stock market, and make no mistake about it, after today, I really can't believe we're about 2 weeks on an extended bull market where it kind of broke through some S&P resistance. In my opinion, based on what I saw, I was really watching that key on the charts of the S&P 500, and we're kind of in no man's land right now, obviously at record highs. However long it can sustain this record high is beyond me. I've got Jared Odell in the group here. I've got Noella in the group, who's just a great friend of mine and a great friend of the channel. Greetings to you from Canada. And these are some of the folks that come into the channel who, as we start to build out this community and we start to realize a shared vision of what I have for the channel, I'm not going to be doing YouTube from my living room my whole life, okay? My master plan is to build a studio, and that's exactly what I'll do. The Independent Investor channel is going to be here for the remainder of my life, whether or not you guys are cool with that or not. I'm telling you that this topic is so infinite. I've got topics built up. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time right now to get those 5-10 minute click YouTube videos on. I don't have it. So this is really kind of my medicine to come on, keep the fire stoked on the channel a little bit, and just ask for your guys's assistance and latitude while I go through this transition period. Why are we able to do that? We're able to do that with investing because this is how we invest, all right? Whether or not I come on here every single day and bark about finances, or I come on here once a week and bark about finances, or I come on once a month, it shouldn't change the fundamental premises that we have on board while our money is working for us, either when we're at our employment or whether or not we're sleeping, and our money is working for us, all right? So I just want to, again, welcome everybody to the group. It's super cool to have you guys. Doug Whitaker's in the group. Just a loyal friend of the channel, no doubt about it. Obviously, he hasn't missed a week as far as coming in here and providing some stock picks. Now, keep in mind, an infinite topic has an infinite number of ways to make money in the stock market, okay? There's an infinite number of ways. I've got In Munch in the group here. I hope you guys don't mind calling. I forgot your guys' name. I've got thousands of people in the group here, and I do apologize, but I'm just going to call you by your thumbnails. You guys are probably chilling out on a Friday. I'm stoked, man. The weather here in Virginia is really starting to get nice. I'm really, really fired up. Nick and Melody, awesome. Guys, thank you so much. Really, really cool to have you in the group. And hopefully you guys have taken some of these premises and put them to work. But I would take it a step further. If you've taken some of the preliminary steps to get started, now all you need to do is start to test your hypothesis about investing, okay? Start to pay attention and look at what comes through the mainstream media with a different lens, okay? You'll start to see how the media is really going against those folks and really looking to promote the managed program. And they're so patronizing. They really are. It's amazing to me that stuff works, okay? Especially some of the advisors that come on. I really don't want to name names, but you guys know some of the advisors that I've done business with in my past. I tell you what, guys, I can't, it's almost like modern day highway robbery. It really is. They're keeping regular people down. They're not allowing people to understand the power of a liberated dollar. It really is. The best indication that regular people like us have about the power of compounding interest is watching it on our credit card statement go into the negative 29.79%. Why the heck do you guys think Visa does so well? Why the heck do you guys think I own a lot of stock in Visa? To be honest with you, I own a lot of stock in PayPal. PayPal's been kind of my top performer over the last couple of weeks, and I'm really excited to be exposed to the payment space with Visa and PayPal. So just kind of throwing that out there, PayPal being my obvious growth name. It's a product that I use. It's a product I resonate with. I do like some of the online payment options like Zelle I use all the time. That's really cool. So just kind of throwing that out there a little bit as a couple of stock picks. But I kind of want to cruise up here and make sure I get to some of these questions. I've got Jesus Casares in the group here. Thanks for what you're doing, Ryan. Just got rid of my financial planner from my 401k. You probably did good there. 401ks traditionally carry a pretty high cost. 401ks, obvious. It's almost as if they built 401ks to confuse people. I've seen a lot of different varieties of 401ks. Ironically, the best version of the 401k that I've seen is the thrift savings plan for military. It's a 401k-like program, okay? It's the lowest fee. The next one that I've reviewed in line as far as, being acceptable in my mind is the Vanguard's 401k. They're pretty good. I've seen a lot of other programs out there that quite frankly suck. They're terrible, all right? So my advice for you, if you were gonna educate yourself up on your 401ks, is not just to dump them, okay? Because a 401k can be a nice baseline. If you're contributing, you're getting free matching. Free matching in and of itself is enough reason to keep your 401k. Keep it. It's not hurting anything. Contribute the minimum amount necessary to get the maximum amount of match. Let me say it again, because it's very important. Contribute enough and only enough to get the maximum amount of match out of your 401k. Now, if you're a spouse, I've got the happy new couple in the group here. You guys can kind of play off each other. I don't know what your employment status is, but if one of you works and has a 401k, keep it, right? Keep the 401k, do the self-directed IRA on the one side, and then the other spouse, depending on what you've got, maybe you've got a 401k as well. Maybe you can start the self-directed account. That's 4 buckets right here under here, and then the employee sponsored, which either could be a Roth 401k or a taxable retirement account. I'm not an expert on 401ks. What I will say is this: know your options, okay? Every single situation that comes into the group looking for that little niche that's going to apply to them is going to be the value on the channel. Here's the thing. I hit rapid fire when I'm firing it out, okay? When I'm talking money. Why is that? It's my favorite topic, okay? But that's the reason why I do it. Because I've got so many people in the group that may hear something and may be able to take that and fine tune what it is will make sense for them. One of my favorite things to say is no portfolio needs to be the same, okay? In Munch, right? Nick and Melody, your program is not going to be the same as somebody else in the group. The key is make it make sense for you. Make sure that you're always revisiting your debt load that you're carrying, and make sure that you're revisiting the amount of savings that you have. Make sure that you have a defined process of the inflow of your paycheck, because that's what we use the checking, okay? You guys met my wife a couple weeks ago. That's how we do it. Our checking is our inflow, outflow account. We don't write checks. Checks are a thing of the past, man. I think checks went out of style maybe 15 years ago. I write maybe 2 or 3 checks a year. However, I do have a checking account. That's where the direct deposit comes in, and that's where the bills are paid for online. We pay bills within 5 minutes. Boom, they're done. Rapid fire, they're done. Okay, now the excess or surplus cash can cross over here into and fund the buckets that we have. Okay, now before we get to the buckets lesson, you have to always condition and make sure that this machine is working well. You're going to have things that change on the inject side of it, whether it be raises, whether it be bonuses, whether it be vacation time, paid vacation, whether it be any type of inject, okay? I've talked about taxes. That can fall under the inject side of it. But for you guys that have lived a little bit of life, you'll know that life will come along and the car will break down and you'll have an unexpected expenditure, right? On the flip side of the house, sometimes those injections of cash come in. You get a refund from the bank for whatever reason. That's happened to me a few times. But taxes is the best example that I can lend and let you guys in on that one little secret that every year when the tax return comes in, it comes into this inject and that cash goes right to the cash bucket every single time, all right? But my point is to always continually monitor your program, okay? Monitor it. Monitor it with the idea that you can continually evolve in your program. And the right program out there is one that makes sense for you, all right? So I just want to welcome everybody. I'm going to get to some of these specific questions in the group. I've got a really robust group in here tonight, but I really want to make sure that I do a deep dive on the buckets section, because a lot of people don't understand my philosophy exists by building wealth with the use of a lot of different pillars in a comprehensive financial picture, okay, or plan. I don't even like to say plan too much, but I got Mr. Robert in the group here, man. Very cool stuff. But I want to cruise up here and I want to get to some of the folks in the group. Just a ton of people here to cover. But I do want to give a shout out to Lorenzo. I know Lorenzo's making its way into the group here on referral. That means a ton to me. It really does. You're going to get a lot of raw information thrown at you. For that, I apologize. You did ask me to dive into solar, and you did ask me to dive into a topic that I won't and can't touch. Okay, so I won't do it. You can use your imagination. Certainly, I know Doug is much more on the aggressive side of the investing, and he makes it work, and I'm all about it. I hope he ends up gaining a net worth of a few million if he's not already there. I'm all about it, okay? I am an ambassador of success. I'm an ambassador. There's not one single person that I don't want to come into this group and feel empowered to be like, God, Jesus, man, this is crazy. Like, what in the hell have I been doing? Wake up, wake up. Look at this guy. Blue collar salary. We're approaching $500,000 net worth. We're working it. We're building wealth. That's what we're doing. We're building wealth. Okay. And it's not through penny stock investing. It's not through high risk investing. It's actually the opposite of that. That's just my approach. That's what makes sense for me, okay? Therefore, it is the right approach. And that's what we're always trying to seek. We're trying to sow those options and allow people to look and make an informed decision about what makes sense for them. I'm of the belief that there are so many solutions out there. All you have to do is pick the right one. And I contend that there is the right solution out there for everyone. It really is. I had one of my very loyal subscribers hit me up with a question who's in the group here, Brenny Fellies, who just hit me up and said, should I invest in bonds for the sheer sake of the fact that they're safe, okay? Here's the thing, and I've done this lesson many, many times on the board with regard to using your bond percentage of exposure within your portfolio against the stock percentage to define your risk. For example, a stock portfolio that has 10% stock and 90% bonds is going to be an extremely conservative portfolio, okay? Conversely, if you have a 90% stock portfolio and a 10% bond portfolio, which is exactly what I have, that's the other end of the scale where you're ultra aggressive, okay? If you're not in either one of those two extremes, pick somewhere in the middle. In the middle is a 50-50 mix of bonds and stocks, okay? Now, it does have to take into account your age. So if you're 20 years old, the rhetorical question that I throw out there is, do you really need to have bond exposure, or could you afford to take on a little bit more risk the younger that you are, okay? The idea is as you get older, you start to accept the importance of wealth preservation as you get older, and you want to take some of that risk off the table. This is just easy thinking, okay? For you military folks out there, if there's any military folks in the group right now that have access to the thrift savings plan, you guys know what I'm talking about with the life cycle funds that BlackRock manages for the TSP. They have the life cycle funds, and all you do is pick when it is that you're expected to need the money in the future, whether it be 30 years down, 2030, whether it be 2040, 2050, and now they're rolling out the 2060 plan this year. Vanguard has similar products on there, okay? They're called target date funds. They basically give you a perfect portfolio and say, here you go, set it up, fund it, it's going to work for you, and it's going to automatically adjust over time and go from, when you're younger, a little more heavily weighted in the stocks, and adjust over time. And by the time you reach your age that you've kind of declared and said, I need that money by that date, that money would have already cycled and adjusted over time to be more of a fixed income portfolio. So it does that for you automatically, okay? But that's the idea. That's how you have to think of the relationship between stock and bond, okay? Now, there was somebody in here who was talking about some dividend stocks. I typically have a lot of dividend payers and growth stock in the portfolio. I'm trying to trim back a little bit on the growth side of the house as we speak. I sold some stock today, all for profit. It was very good, took some risk off the table. I can provide those to you later in the live stream, but I really want to get to some of these questions. I think today would be a great day to reiterate building cash on the side. So it's kind of what I do. If you pulse into the message and you give yourself the opportunity to let me speak for an hour and a half, I know it's a Friday night. I know some of you guys maybe would rather be doing something else. I don't know. But there's no place really I'd rather be, okay? 41 years old. When I was in my early 20s, I wasn't doing this kind of stuff. I really wasn't. I was out being stupid and living life. But I've always had a financial savvy about me, and I've learned a lot as I've evolved in what works and what doesn't work. And I think you're exactly right. That's really why I have this cash pillar up here, to think about that as your baseline. Right now, I'm sitting at about, I told you guys I was at 23.7 last Friday in cash. I'm a little bit above that now. That's excluding my big cash account. So I really do have a ton of cash just sitting on the sideline monitoring the market, okay? So I have buckets working for me at the percentage that I deem necessary, all right? The rest of it's cash. Now, financial planners would look at that and say, I want it all. Well, of course you want it all. You get paid a percentage based on how much you can milk me for, okay? It makes sense for you. Does it make sense for me? One of the greatest mistakes that I've ever made is overexposing to the stock market. One of the greatest mistakes, okay? Investing does not have to be your sole dump tank for wealth creation, all right? There's real estate, there's other ways, there's precious metals exposure, which really isn't something that needs to be primary in a portfolio when you're looking to build these multiple buckets out here. If you're wondering what these numbers are, I've actually declared how many actual accounts I have. 2 529s for the kids. I've actually got 3 IRAs. This includes my 401k-like account, the thrift savings plan, okay? And then up here with the taxable account, I've got the first trade account, the M1 account, and the brokerage account. So 3 taxable accounts up here, okay? This is between me and my wife, right? 3 IRAs, 2 529s. And if you guys are tuning in, and I'll throw this out there to give a little bit of motivation, I'll bet my 12-year-old has a better portfolio than most adults that I know, all right? Now, I don't say that to be rude. I say that to pay attention, okay? By sheer nature of me being her dad, right? She's got a pretty impressive portfolio. It just shows the power and will to start the account. I really could be paid a lot of money just teaching people how to go and get to their first $10,000, all right? If you're under $10,000 and you're out there, I don't want any other goal than to get to the first $10,000. If you say, Ryan, I get it, I've looked at the stats, I can be a millionaire. Yes, you can, but that is not a realistic short-term goal. Realistic short-term goal is to get to that first 10, all right? We're just ready to click over to 4,000 in the M1 account. In the first trade account, we're approaching 1,550 in the passive sector ETF portfolio with M1 Finance, okay? We're wealth building. Those are also taxable accounts. So we've got 3 of those as well, okay? So just to kind of give you an idea what we're looking at and how we look at the multiple buckets from a comprehensive perspective. And when you go and you sit down with a financial planner, you're not going to get this level of detail on the importance of cash. It just does not benefit them to sit there and tell you to put your money to cash, because there's a philosophy that your money's not working for you unless it's working for you. I just beg to differ. I think there's a deeper perspective on this issue in that 2009 can happen again, okay? Are you prepared to take your money into a 40 or a 50% downturn? That's the rule of thumb that I throw out. If you're willing to look at your account and say, I have $10,000, I'm young, I'm willing to take that $10,000 to a $6,000 account over the next 3 months, okay? We enter into a bear market, we enter into a recession. Are you willing to do that? Are you dollar cost averaging that account to an extent that if it did go down, you could increase your dollar cost average amount in that account and take advantage of that swoon in the stock market? See, you always want to give yourself that defensive opportunity to take advantage of a downturn. And it's so much money to take an investing account into a swoon if you have that cash account or cash buffer to act upon. That way you can go to sleep every single night and go, you know what? My investing account is my investing account. I don't need the money, all right? I'm willing to take it into a downturn, but I'm going to control everything around that account that I can control. And so many people out there want to get caught up on the $4,000 that I've lost $4,000. No, you haven't lost $4,000. Your account has just adjusted it back. Okay, that's what happened. That's the time that you want to step in, maybe increase and go from second gear to maybe fourth or fifth gear. If we get a 30 or 40% downturn in the stock market, it's going to be really, really imperative, and it's probably going to be slightly entertaining to where you see the Independent Investor channel, your friend, Ryan, upshift from second to sixth gear. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to building that wealth with the community over time. That's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of staying power on the Independent Investor channel because the information really does work, man. So I'm going to cruise up and make sure. Glad to be here, Ryan, and thanks again for inspiring me to invest. Again, I deal with these comments all the time. I'm humbled by such a comment. I would consider it more of a success, I think, if you could kind of give me back some justifications that you've been able to identify with regard to the benefit of self-directed investing. Okay, so I challenge you for that. I could just come on here and say, thanks, Travis, appreciate, and I'm glad as hell to have you in the group. Anybody's welcome in the group. Those types of comments I really, really appreciate. But now let's build upon that comment and say, what is it about self-directed investing that you like so much? Is it the fact that you're in control of your own money? I don't know. A lot of people don't know that that's possible. Is it the fact that you don't really understand, maybe if you are with a financial planner, how much compensation they actually get for representing your money? I don't know. Is it the fact that the products that they put you in have an agenda attached to them? Ask yourself, why is it that financial planners don't recommend single stock? Why is it that they don't introduce ETF investing? Why? Why is it that there's a record number of outflows right now from mutual funds to ETFs or index funds, which index funds are more of an equivalent to a mutual fund? And I equally endorse those two products. I really do. I just fail to see a difference really between the two other than how the products are structured. Okay, ETFs act more like stock, trade like stock during the day as a grouping of an underlying index, whereas an index fund is going to trade after hours a lot like a mutual fund does. And unfortunately, even the index funds do carry a little bit of an entry fee. Even Vanguard's flagship funds, they'll charge you $19.95 to get involved with those funds, and the Admiral shares now still carry with it, I think, a $3,000 minimum to invest, right? So my thing is, I just opt for the ETFs. That's my most popular video on YouTube, where I let people in on that very secret, in that comparatively across the board, the two products are similar. They've just bundled them up, put a pink bow on one and a blue bow on the other, and they sell them to people, and they make a small commission, and rightfully so. Really, really good stuff, man. I really appreciate the comment again, but I really, really want the message of independent investing to really, when I say empower, that's exactly what I mean. Okay, I want to build investors to where someday they could probably turn the channel off and go about their way and succeed in investing. Kind of ironic, you know what I mean? We're building people up to not have to seek out this information, that they can take it, really, really understand and resonate with how important it is. Why? Because they've been able to observe their hard-earned dollars, what they look like liberated in an account where they're not restricted. It's an amazing feeling. And a lot of very, very few people experience this phenomenon. A lot of people in the group here have kind of touched on them experiencing that phenomenon right now with the market being as crazy it is. And I congratulate you. We're going to do a little celebrating tonight for sure. So, hey, Ryan, I'm interested in ETF. Is that the best for the long run? So I've got Nightwolf 19 who hits me up with just a super golden question. ETF investing is a great way to build up a baseline, okay? But here's the thing. I've just laid out quite a bit of homework that you can do before you even put one red cent into the stock market, okay? Before you end up down here and you end up starting your Roth IRA, whether it be through a major brokerage or through M1 Finance or through First Trade or through any of the other brokers that are out there that are really good. They all do the same thing. They provide you access to the market, okay? There's a few things that you have to do before you jump to the product, okay? So your question is super, super good, but I can't tell you how common that question is, and here's why. I would rather see that question come to me and say, what are the preliminary steps I need to go through before I become an ETF investor? Okay. Do you see how I coined that question a little bit different? Because here's the thing. If I could say, yes, investing in ETFs is a phenomenal passive way to build up a base, you're going to go out next week and you're going to start that ETF account and you're probably going to succeed. You really are. Those products are meant for the ability to hold them, fund them long-term and win out over time, okay? But here's the thing. I'm not being as thorough as I can be if I don't run you through the fact that if you've got debt and you don't have a lot of savings, that you can work on those things. And I don't want to run you off the prospect of investing. I don't share in the Ramsey philosophy of just, all debt is evil, okay? Can it be restrictive? Yeah, it can. Does it need to be under control? Yes. Do I believe in credit cards? Hell yes. I love them. They're phenomenal. If you're going to pay me for things that I'm going to buy every day anyway, then yeah, I'm all about it. I've probably rendered about $15,000 to $20,000 of free stuff through my credit card company, okay? Not to get on a tangent, but before we enter into, I want to make sure that we have this side of the house, the inject side, correct, and then we start the right account. And I see people all the time go through the preliminary stuff. They get up here, they're good. Then they get down here and they forget the self-directed designation that you have to opt into before you start this. If you opt into a managed Roth IRA, then you're not going to get the benefit of the liberated dollars within that account. All right. You're going to be subjecting your money to the fees that are disclosed in the disclosures. Okay. We want to avoid that. All right. Now, I know I'm throwing a lot of details at you, but once that preliminary stuff is done, what ETFs are you going to buy? What type of investor are you? Did you hear my lesson about risk tolerance? Maybe you're a 20% bond person. Maybe you're an 80% stock person. Maybe you're young and you just want to go completely stock. I'm kind of moving away from that philosophy in that if you buy 100% of the S&P 500, it's really not in line with any logical, diversified philosophy about carefully and strategically approaching the stock market, okay? It's like above ultra aggressive. Even though you're diversified, okay, the stock market needs to have those additional buffers in a portfolio to perform really well. Now, the way to combat that is if you're young, you really, really do have the ability to take on extra risk. And if you're going to buy the risk in the market because you're young and you've got the debt controlled and you got a little savings built up, let's say you've got 2,500 and you're coming to the channel and you're being like, I want to take $1,000 and start my account, Ryan, I'm in. I'll be the first to tell you that's an awesome plan. Buy the S&P 500, okay? Buy the S&P 500. You're going to be diversified across the board. Let it work. Dollar cost average it. Prove to yourself that you can stick with a plan, okay, before you start to add specific cornerstones into the portfolio and start to build it up over time. If you've got the time, give yourself that opportunity to succeed by starting and looking at that exchange traded fund as just that baseline or starting position in the portfolio. It's a killer question. Thank you for that. It's awesome. Guys are throwing the stats on Walgreens out to check on that. Thank you for the update. That is why we do what we do, to talk stock market. And I don't need a financial, we're all a bunch of hardworking people. What really is interesting to me is there's so many different mental makeups that can succeed in wealth building. It's amazing. It's amazing to me. It's not the way people think that it is. Okay. A lot of people think because you have money, you're successful. Not true. Not true. You can have money and be a spiritual disaster. Okay. You're not even enjoying your money. You don't appreciate it. So what's the point? Conversely, I know folks out there that are making that lower income that are coming, they're researching what it is that I'm talking about, and they're like, dang, he's right. That's amazing. It's on page 2 of the disclosure form. My financial planner is not a fiduciary. That's amazing. Like, what service did they provide to me? What obligation did they have to have my best interest in mind? They didn't have any. That's why they sold me 4 mutual funds, and they set me up on a DCA schedule that they take a certain percentage per month of my money to contribute. Why? Just to do it? That's amazing. Like, they basically wrapped up an imaginary product and sold it to me for 5.75%. That pisses me off. That's my money, right? It should piss you off as well. And that's great. I don't ask for a pissed off audience out there, but really this stuff makes me angry. Now, the thing that's cool about it that I take a lot of relief in is the fact that I don't play ball anymore. Why do you think I came out with the channel? It's to help you guys understand that you can be above the system or on the side of the system or below the system or however you want to look at it, but you're not playing ball with that garbage, all right? And you have a very, very concrete reason as to why you're not playing ball. So cruise down here. So yeah, I will look into Walgreens. Thanks for sharing that. Really, really cool. I think today would be a good time to talk about the cash. We did that. Lorenzo, again, man, call you just to make sure that you feel like you're part of the community. And you got referred by a good friend. I've been conversing with Doug for a long, long time. And it's really cool. I speak like I know these folks. I feel like I kind of do. You know, social media gives you that ability to reach out and converse with people that you would never, ever had the opportunity to. And that I'm really grateful for that. I've learned a lot through the evolution of the channel. It's really, really helping me. You know, it's a lot of the old saying is, you know, if you really, really want to understand a topic inside and out, teach the topic. You know, how many people of you guys that have tuned into me for a while could actually start to teach this stuff? You know, I encourage that. I really do. And I think eventually my longer term vision is really to have a lot of core group available that are helping with this initiative. And the sky's the limit with the project. There's nobody on this earth that wants to be more financially savvy than they are now. Nobody. I'm one of them. I'm always really looking to improve my situation, always looking to improve. It really adds a different dynamic if you're single out there. It adds a little different dynamic if you're young. It adds a different dynamic if you're older, right? It doesn't need, you don't need me to tell you you need to invest one way or the other. It just can influence your decision. That's all. That's another reason why a lot of people come to the channel in their 50s and 60s to be like, dang, this is awesome. You know, I've got some free time in my hand. I want to throw, you know, 10, 20, 25, 50 grand. I want to invest that money. This is awesome. Ryan's actually telling me I can. Hell yeah, you can. You're not going to have me come on here and tell you you can't do something. You know, I'm just your friend through YouTube. That's it. Not your dad. Do whatever you want. I just assume that you deploy my program. I charge you nothing for the information, man. And my information actually freaking works. You know, could I justify charging everything under the sun to build some sort of program? You know, I probably should, honestly. But until I can make a particular course in the manner that I want to make it, we will hold off doing just that because I want to do it one time and I want to do it right and I want to do it my way. Okay, we'll teach along all the fundamental stuff that I've offered for free, but we'll do it in a little bit cleaner approach. And we're not at that point yet. No way. I'm not going to release anything of the sort without having all the processes clearly defined and the product the way that I want it. We're going to roll out the blog. That's going to be a lot of fun. I am kind of opening it up a little bit for some solicitations, talking to a few people who really understand web design a little bit better than me. Sky's the limit because I've got just a ton of writing research that I can throw on there, situations that I've personally dealt with, the opportunity to share those experiences with people. And people are going to read that because They're going to read it and they're going to say, Jesus, man, that happened to me too. I get it all the time. People come on the channel and they're like, dang, the same freaking thing happened to me. Why did they sell me 5 mutual funds? Why did they do that? I didn't need that. I didn't want that. Did they explain the product good enough? No, they were high pressure and they sold me and I left and I didn't even know what I felt bad. I had buyer's remorse when I left the financial planner. You should never feel that way. But I'm always of the belief if you're going to introduce somebody and pay for a service, introduce somebody into your little world, which should only be yours, okay? Nobody else is included in your world. But when you start to introduce people into your world and asking for that service or indirectly asking for the service, you're going to pay for it. You are, whether or not you like it or not, okay? So just keep that in mind. Sometimes the best thing to do is just keep track of your own business and don't let anybody else in. I do it myself. All right. Hey, Ryan, can you further elaborate on what you mean, please? Sure. If you tell me what I was talking about, I can elaborate on a lot of different things. I thought I always did that. My stocks are doing great. Stocks are an aggressive way to invest. Please keep it within scale. Keep it within reason. Don't get too crazy with the stock market. It's really not worth it. I've got Kashif Shah in the group. I want to welcome you. Sean Lockett, thanks for coming in. Really good to see you guys. Wondering what tax accountant will say if you daily dollar cost average into the M1 Finance. I don't think it's a big deal at all. Will he have to do paperwork on every daily transaction? For me, that's over 30 transactions a day. Tax accountants will say the dollar cost average into M1 Finance. Will he have to do paperwork on every daily transaction? Yeah, I don't. M1 Finance, I don't know about that constant of a funding, but it's built to do that if that's what you want to do. I think I've got mine set up for $25 just to prove a point because I use that as an example. I didn't start the M1 Finance account because I had to. I did it because I wanted to. I wanted to use it to prove to you guys that you can get to that $10,000 mark, and I will. I guarantee. I guarantee I will get that account up to $10,000, and I'll prove and I'll show you. And once he hits that 10,000, then we make our next goal. That's really the key. Ryan the goat. That's awesome. Thank you. I think that's a compliment. That's pretty cool. But I think you called me a goat. That's cool. That's the first time I've ever been called a goat. That's awesome. That's really cool, man. Thank you. I got a flame. That's really cool. Michael Raver says, hell yes. Again, shout out to Seattle. I got one of my fellow military folks in here, Jake Jara. Hey, Ryan, driving in good old LA traffic. Yeah, I've been there, done that, man. I used to work in San Pedro. It's right down in the port of Los Angeles. Deploying in the near future, you're going to miss the live streams. I don't know, man. If you guys are listening to this part, we're almost under an hour. I'd like you guys to give a shout out to Jake Jara. It tugs at my heartstrings a little bit. Now, that's my brother from another mother. So you guys do me a favor and wish Jake Jara all the best. For you guys that have somewhat of a sheltered life, he's probably about to embark on a journey that maybe a lot of you guys haven't had the opportunity or the ability to experience and know what he's about to go through. So I thank you for your service, man. No doubt. And that's coming from another serviceman. So good luck to you. Safe travels. And we'll catch you when you get back, man. We'll keep the fire stoked here for you. And hope everything's well with the family while you're gone. That's real talk. To hell with money for just a few seconds, okay? There's a lot more important things in life. But yeah, no, if you're probably deploying from Pendleton, I would imagine, yeah? So good stuff, man. Really good. Great to have you in the group. Long-standing friend of the channel, man. Probably been around the channel, man, since I was like, well, I'm still kind of a nobody on YouTube, which is totally fine. I'm not the type of personality that YouTube wants anyway. And that's fine. I'll continue to fight the system. I don't really give to, I want to cuss, but I won't. I'll keep it nice and clean. We'll keep it PG rated tonight for you guys that don't appreciate the foul language. I'll keep it clean. which is what I should do anyway. But yeah, anyway, Sherry is here from Canada. Really cool. Our beautiful neighbors to the north. It's awesome to have you. Investing is for the rich, and the rich are evil. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't. Geez, I don't envy success in that way. One of my best examples of somebody who's went from somebody I knew, early and just met through YouTube is Ryan Scribner. I'm doing him a favor right now. He really has to be understanding. I'm about halfway through a project that he's asked me to review for him. You guys will probably be privy to that review within the next month or so when I'm completed with it. But I don't know. Success is relative. Okay, you can look at success in a lot of different ways. I just think finances, for what it's worth, is probably one of the most controllable aspects of your life. Diet, exercise, things like that. Those are even more difficult, in my opinion, than finances. But I will tell you, my success as a stock investor has a lot to do with the fact that I'm pretty squared away in some of those other categories as well. And it really does help. It helps with the spiritual aspect of everything. It just makes you be a more holistic person. If you're looking to save for the future and you're not going to be around, what's the point? Okay. We all want to have the most fulfilled life that we can possibly gain out of this gig. And this is just a small piece of what we offer on the Independent Investor channel, how you can potentially enrich your life a little bit. Greg's in the group here. Great friend, K97 Info and Dividends and Taxable Events. Short and long-term gains and losses are downloaded from the brokerage if that capability is available. It better be available. If the brokerages out there don't have that capability, which in my opinion they all do, even Robinhood has that capability. It's a little more tricky. There's some tutorials on YouTube with regard to getting your 1099s automatically uploaded into the tax software to take into account your short and long-term gains and losses. That's a must. Okay, we don't talk about taxes a whole lot. Taxes are freaking about as boring as insurance. That's why I don't bring it up, but we all pay taxes, and we should all have some form of insurance as well. I don't talk too much about insurance. I'm willing to talk about the topic, why I opt for $500,000 policy at $20 a month, a term life insurance policy. Life insurance is not an investment as far as I'm concerned. It's an acknowledgement within a comprehensive financial plan to ensure that your heirs are taken care of upon your untimely death. That's it. That's my rant. And I'll give it to you that way. So just so you guys know, I am an advocate of it, but I'm a staunch proponent of term life insurance and not whole life. Okay, I think whole life is another one of those products that they could probably just do away with, and I would be completely fine with it. All right, that's just my opinion. Okay, so thank you for that. I appreciate. How's it going, everybody? Got Golffish is in the group. He gives me 2 thumbs up. That's awesome. He's got a question down below I'll get to in just a second. ODP could be a good swing trade. I got out at 375 plus a dividend, now down to 275. Sort of looks like a pattern. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that offering. Doug, if you take ODP and run it through whatever metrics you run it through, that'd be interesting to take a look at there. Tim Tellers, awesome to have you, man. Great friend of the channel, and I hope you don't mind me calling your name out over YouTube. Don't worry about it, man. Only about 1,000 people see this anyway, so we're all good, man. I love my community. I'd rather just keep a small group of loyal followers in the channel. If this channel ever ends up growing to something large, you're gonna get the same old Ryan. That's gonna be a lot of fun when the trolls start coming around, because I don't get a lot of hate on the channel. There's a reason for it. There's a reason. I don't change who I am to come on here. Just watch my suite of videos. Watch video number 1. You'll just see a nervous version of Ryan. I'm a little more comfortable with what it is I like to talk about on the channel and what I think people will receive. That's the key. I can get on here and blah, 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 and you can turn it on and not remember a thing. But I tend to try to strive to be an impact player. I want to make an impact. I want you to watch it and be like, damn, like that. Okay. Said some stuff that kind of stuck with me. Maybe, geez, I don't really feel like sleeping right now because he said some stuff that kind of motivated me to, I don't know, maybe take a little bit step and, maybe aim a little bit higher. Yeah, sure. That's the goal. Let me cruise down here and see what else. Traffic, Lorenzo, that's awesome, man. Really glad to have you in the group here. I just want to make sure you feel welcome. Ursa and Bernice, somebody's talking. Greg, I didn't know you. I don't know. These guys are speaking different languages in here. I don't have an interpreter in here. Thank you and God bless. Very cool. Thank you. Free Alien, welcome. I did this for about 3 months before I jumped in with 1,250 in December. Free Alien, if you in fact invested some money in December, you probably got into the market at a very reasonable time. I will say this: if you got in December, you probably avoided a significant downturn. You probably bought the market at a pretty good time, and you've probably seen your money appreciate pretty well. So congrats to you. I think you picked a pretty good time not to time the market, but you just looked at the market and figured, hey, everybody else is talking about doom and gloom. I'm going to put some money to work. Smart move. My good friend Jared Odell is in here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for supporting the channel. I do apologize for my lack of contribution in the Facebook group over the last month or so. It's going to continue for the next month. There's a very, very specific reason as to why that's going on. This is my hour-and-a-half opportunity to come and address the group, whoever wants to come in and take part in the live stream. So can you contribute to a company 401k and also contribute to a first trade account? Yes, you can. It's a great question. Stever, if you're still in the group, Niner39er, you're in the group here. I would premise it this way. It really just kind of depends. 401k being a passive option. It's a it's an autopilot program that you fund. Hopefully you have some matching in the 401k, but it's a fund it and forget it. I like to recommend that if you're going to look at first trade as an option for you, it can be a passive account. But if you're going to go with a broker that is not a top tier broker, they're not. I love the service. They're lightning fast, but they're not Merrill Edge. They're not Fidelity. They're not TD Ameritrade. They're not Charles Schwab. Okay. Now you'll pay a little bit more of a premium to go with those folks. For example, in way of your stock trades. Okay. Run you about $5 to $7 per trade, entry and exit. So an entry and exit could be $14 to enter and exit a position if you want to take profit. So make sure that you have your goal identified when you start to get up in here into the taxable account realm. I'm all about it, but make sure that you do not move to the taxable option up here until you've maximized your capability to tax protect money. Now, if you're above $130,000 in annual income, strike that, okay? Forget what I just said, that's fine. If you need to go with traditionals to reduce your taxable income, that's fine. You can do that. But just make sure that you're not skipping a step here and moving into a first trade option when you haven't moved through and exploited all of your tax deferred or tax-free opportunity through the Roth option before you go into a taxable option, because I want to make sure that you have the ability to max fund this option before you justify moving up here to the taxable option. Okay, very, very important. And for a lot of people, you'll be here for a while. Okay, getting that built up, providing enough baseline in that savings account, building up that savings for 5-10 years even sometimes. You'll be able to get up there, and you'll get there. Eventually you'll be able to max fund this, max fund it with $500 a month. If you can do $500 a month, which is a lot for a lot of people. If you're married, double it. Now you've got $1,000 of potential tax-free contributions, or tax deferred until you reach 59.5, and then tax-free after 59.5. Make sure you're going through the progression. Okay, I didn't draw these arrows up here for fun. This is actually kind of a flow chart of progression. And I would like to see you not move to the next option until you've completely maximized the bucket that you're on. Okay, kind of simple, but thank you for that. That's really, really cool. But the answer is yes. And then don't forget the M1 finance option as well. I think I like both accounts, I really do, but I like First Trade for different reasons. I like M1 finance for different reasons, okay? More of a passive ETF type of option. If you wanted single stock in the M1 account, you can do that because you have the ability to do partial shares in M1. That's fine, you can do that. But make sure that you're aligning the goals that you want before you just go out there and start the account. Okay, Steve, thank you. It's really great. Thank you for the question and coming in and contributing to the dialogue this evening. So Golffish hits me up with a question here. Just a heads up for anyone new, great info over on Ryan's Facebook group, self-directed investing as well. For you guys that didn't notice, I changed the name of the group, more streamlined, really more of a descriptor on what it is that I do in 3 words. Self-directed investing is exactly what we do. So that's what we're looking to share with folks. The blog is the same, self-directedinvesting.blog. So I'm a proud owner of a website. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it, but I own the website now. I'd like to build it up to something special where we direct communicate with folks. So I'm really looking to get that property up and running when I do have the chance. I'm probably going to start, maybe looking to deploy some help. I'm really kind of too blocked with the amount of necessary time I need to build these properties up. So really, really important. Juicebox is in the group, says, is M1 a good place to open a self-managed Roth IRA? In my opinion, it's one of the best places to open the self-directed IRA. So one of the absolute best. So if you wanted to invest passively, it gives you a lot of different options on there. Okay. You can go on there and you can pick from their model portfolios, whether it be from their conservative all the way up to their ultra aggressive. I've invested in M1 in kind of a unique way that I would just kind of want to beta test a little bit, and that's to buy all 11 sectors across utilities, materials, discretionary, staples, real estate, technology, healthcare, financials, industrials, energy, and communication services. I just rattled off all 11 sectors off my memory. That was pretty cool. You can rewind this after it's all done, but I'm kind of surprised I did that. That's interesting. But I kind of custom chose the percentage of allocation. For example, I have 14% of the portfolio going to technology, and I've only got about 6% going to materials. I've got 6% going to energy. I've got about 8% going to utilities, and then everything in between. So it's kind of a cool way to invest in the total stock market by breaking it up per sector. And that portfolio represents all 11 sectors, including real estate. So my way, no right or wrong way. That's just, I'm pretty open about how I invest in that particular offering. But M1 is really cool. I encourage you, of course, use the affiliate link on the Independent Investor channel. That's one of the very few ways that I actually do earn some money through the channel. And if we ever want to move the channel out of my living room and actually look to build this studio that I have a grand vision for someday, then that helps support the channel. So make sure that you at least click on the link. It's at the bottom of every single one of my offerings. That helps support the channel if you do end up starting an account with M1 Finance. But I think it's a great option. I believe M1 Finance does have a $500 minimum to start the Roth IRA. And if Brent is in the group here with Financial Investor, he's actually probably more of an expert on M1 Finance than I am. I'm still kind of in the process of familiarizing myself with the platform, but how much familiarization do you really need for a passive? I mean, it's not one of those accounts that you're going to want to be finagling with too often. You're going to want to kind of do your research, identify what type of investor that you want to be. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a little more tailor-made to the passive investor Okay, you're not going to be trading in and out of M1 Finance. You're not going to really want to do that a whole lot in a Roth IRA anyway, but M1 Finance is going to be really good if you want to introduce even some single stock, dividend, the ability to buy partial shares. If you wanted to buy a partial share of Amazon, Google, M1 Finance is one of the very, very few, if not the only one that I've ever identified that offer partial shares. So really cool. So if you wanted to buy 1/10 of Google, you could. So it's kind of cool. Check it out for yourself. It's a really good option. I don't waste my time. I don't recommend on the channel Webull, but that's a third option. I don't have an affiliate through Webull. I told Ryan Scribner that I would honor his initiative through his channel. He offers Webull, kind of has as his low cost, no cost broker through the channel, and I just told him straight up, I'm loyal to what he does, and I'm not gonna step on his feet as far as what he offers. So I won't do that. But certainly an option. You can check it out if you'd like to. So really cool stuff. Thank you, investor. I'm just a person. I guess you guys tune into the channel and you expect an investing response throughout this hour and a half. But trust me, man, when I turn this off, I just go back to being normal dad and husband. That's it, and hard worker. And I've been on an absolute tear the last couple of weeks, man. I've hit my wall a few times with work. So this is kind of a cool release to come on and talk about one of my favorite topics, if not my favorite topic. I was born and bred for finance. I love it. I have a lot in Walgreens after the 6 years. Yeah, you're probably fine. 6 years of holding in Walgreens, and I'd have to look at what happened today. I don't know what the deal is. I'm a big fan of both CVS and Walgreens. CVS has really come down a lot off the highs, so I don't know what's going on with those properties. I really don't. It's really one of my favorite businesses, both of them. I actually would prefer Walgreens. I think they're cleaner stores than CVS, but I like them both. I really do. But I have to do a little more research and see what happened today. I was off the radar as far as the stock market goes. I looked at my accounts and I was like, nice, I'm up $688 today. Cool, not bad for a day. So didn't even watch it. Why didn't even pull send with it today. I was too busy. That's the beauty of investing, right? It's working while you're working. So think about it that way. It's the beauty of one of the forms of passive income. So really cool stuff. Keep that in mind when you're validating why it is that you invest. It's not to invest and then watch it every day, just waiting for it to go down. You gotta trust your decisions, trust your program there, man. Good stuff. Jesus Casadas says, thanks for what you're doing, Ryan. Just got rid of my financial planner. I've already addressed that. So I'm going to cruise down and make sure I got most of these. Just jumped on me here. I thought I saw somebody in the group here that I have my good friend Mimi's in the group here, man. So cool. I just saw her actually. It's really awesome. Super cool. I'm going to get to Mimi here pretty quick and provide some personal assistance because, well, I'm her financial coach and that's what I do. See, I like the word coach a lot more than I do like the word mentor, but as far as like planner and all that, I don't like that lingo. I like to be a little bit more personal with this business. And I quite frankly think that the topic of finance renders a lot more awareness. And unfortunately for a lot of people, it's one of those topics that a lot of people really kind of stray away from, especially God in the workplace. Try to bring it up. It's really cool. Some of you guys are bidding farewell to my man. That's freaking awesome, man. I'm just seeing some of these. I may go back after this and read some of this cool stuff. I'm not trolling, asking genuinely. I don't understand bonds at all. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But I need to get some exposure as I get a bit older. Currently have zero bond exposure. I don't think that's trolling a lot. And let me tell you what, you don't need to validate your question. You can come in here and throw it my way as hard as you want. I'm a pretty tough fella. No worries about that. And there's no amount of trolling on the internet. What the freak is trolling? Jesus, a bunch of sissies that come on and talk crap to people who can't respond to them. That's amazing. Do it to my face. But to answer your question, which is a legitimate one, thanks for coming in. I buy my bond exposure through the ETF, through Vanguard. So if you're really interested in looking at the Vanguard products, Greg just above you offered BND and BNDX. BND is actually a name I personally own. You're going to notice when you get on the Vanguard website, and if you can navigate to the bond ETF section of their ETFs, there's going to be 59 offerings on there. Navigate to that section. You're going to notice that there's total bond markets, which is going to be a mixture of short-term, intermediate term, and long-term bonds. Now, there's going to be an ETF on there for extended duration as well. If that's your fancy, you can do that. Those are bonds in excess of 20 years, okay? Just to give you a quick rundown of bonds, just think of bonds as a payment on a loan. That's really what it is, okay? Bond gets issued in the amount of a debt repayment. Interest is paid on that bond, whether it be for a short term or an intermediate term or a longer term, and the bond holder gets paid on the interest on that loan payment, okay? That's really the idea, okay? But I've found that a very interesting way to get some bond exposure in the portfolio, I've got about $30,000 right now in a bond portfolio that's built exclusively from Vanguard ETFs. They're all doing very, very well. The trick is to weight those bond exposures in an allocation that makes sense to you. And I would say that you probably want to have the bulk of your money weighted toward that intermediate section, okay? Have the next exposure on the short side and then the lowest exposure on the long-term side, okay? So the largest amount of exposure in the intermediate section, the next largest in the short term, and then the final, the smallest percentage in the long-term section. And you're going to see that there's a mixture of both government-backed securities and corporate debt offerings, okay? So both of those offerings are on there. I currently own 7 of those ETFs in my fixed portfolio. That's a killer question. Don't ever try to justify your question. That's what this group is for, man, to come and throw your questions my way, right or wrong. For the folks that have some TSP exposure, the G fund also is a very, very good comparable option. So very, very important there, man. I've got some folks here. BLV is awesome. It is. It's amazing, man. It goes up every day. I'm a big advocate. I just see here Ernest is in the group, says hello. Really one of my just an awesome friend of the channel, man. Really cool. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. Take intro 0% credit card cash advances and borrow against it to fund investments. Was that close to something Ryan said? That's really funny. No, I didn't say that. That's the first time somebody's done that, man. That's really funny. Oh my gosh. Mimi, thank you so much, man. Business must be well. We should probably talk again. Holy smokes. You got to let me know before your company goes public so I can buy some stock, because you really do have a multi-million-dollar idea. So I can probably generate a little bit of churn as well, because I do have an influence on the audience that I'm working to. But you are legit. You are one of the most business savvy people that I've ever met in my life. I can't believe it. But thank you for the gift. I really appreciate that. That's nice. That helps support the channel. I'm humbled, man. Very cool. Makes me fired up. Been going an hour and 23 minutes. We're going to try to get to some of these. I get music musings. I have to learn from the ups and downs on my own. You do. There's inherent lesson in that stuff. Don't shun that off. Okay. You're only as good as your next day as an investor. Okay. So going through your investing and you're involving, don't ever ignore those lessons to be like, man, I wish I maybe would have done this a little bit. I wish I wouldn't have been so exposed. Or, hey, maybe I should have saved a little more cash. Pay attention to that stuff. Also, don't be too serious with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. You're probably going to make what you consider mistakes. It's all right. All right. You're a self-directed investor. You have to know that you make the decisions for why you make the decisions, and trust your plan. Trust the plot process. Trust the fact that you're going to reap 100% of the rewards as a self-directed investor. So don't beat yourself up when you have a little hiccup or a mistake or the market goes down 10%. That type of stuff's going to happen, man. It's all good. All right. That's all kind of part of the gig. I really want to leave off on one of the statements that I saw up here before these comments were dumped into the group here. I think I missed. Yes, I did here. Stacked hippie chick. Awesome is in the group. So I'm from Oregon, and I just like this. I like the screen name. It's kind of cool. I don't know. When I think hippie, I think the Grateful Dead, which Eugene, Oregon was one of the favorite places Jerry liked to play. So if you've ever been to Eugene, Oregon, I don't know, man. It's very, very hippie friendly. So very cool. 2.4% is our high water mark. They even had to dust off Yellen. I think you had a comment up here I was going to get to before it jumped down. I do apologize for that if I missed it in the group. I'm scouring over it the best I can. Let me cruise down here and see if I can't get this group at the bottom. Thank you, Bill Pay, the best thing on the internet. I concur. Yeah, the payment space is pretty amazing. Pretty good way. The grinder's on fire this evening. I feel good. I feel good. Thank you, Larry. It's great to have you in the group, man. It's just see these familiar names. It's awesome. You're all part of something really, really special. Very cool. It's all about you guys, and I'm there with you. That's all it is. Hey, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. You guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves there. USAF. That's freaking awesome, man. I love it. That was probably the highlight of my night right there, man, except for Mimi popping in and throwing a nice tip in there. I hardly consider that a tip. Jesus, that used to be a car payment. Man, I'm humbled. Holy moly. Mimi, things must be doing really, really well. We should probably talk again. Good grief. I'm a phone call away. I've just been very, very busy. I've been kind of off the grid on taking some appointments over the last 3 weeks or so, but once I get done with this obligation, it's back on. It's back on. Seriously, this project I love so much, and I love you guys as well. I really do. I appreciate your time. Don't want you to ever come on here and think that you're not getting value out of this channel for an hour and a half out of your evening. All right. Investments, future finances. How's it going? You guys are kind of striking up some dialogue. Hi, I'm new to your channel. Great content. Could you please explain the difference between mutual fund, index, and ETF? You bet. Armin DJ is in the house asking one of the premier questions. And I could answer it in the cliche way, but I'm going to answer it my way, if you don't mind. Okay? Mutual funds, in my opinion, are a thing of the past. Okay? Mutual funds will be affixed to either a load or a no load option. Okay, which means you'll probably pay either a 5.75% upfront fee to even get into the mutual fund. The idea is that it's actively managed. Okay, if you don't understand this terminology I'm throwing out there, please just slow me down and say I don't understand. But I want to kind of remove mutual funds from the conversation, because what you'll need to pay attention to if you do own mutual funds is the expense ratio over that account, okay, or over that fund, not account, but fund. And a lot of people will misstep and own the self-directed Roth IRA account only to screw up and fill it with mutual funds, okay? If you're working so hard to self-designate the account, a self-directed account, only to turn around and buy a mutual fund that has a 1.5% expense ratio, or even a 1-point expense ratio. I provide the the Trading Academy offers the best compounding calculator where you can take that 1% and plug it into the calculator, and it can tell you how much that 1% is going to cost you over 30, 40, 50 years compared to an ETF, which the one we talk about, for example, all the time, VOO, you've seen a lot of guys throw this ticker symbol into the audience here, guys and gals, talk about it. The expense ratio on an ETF That ETF is 0.04%, 0.03% actually. I believe it's adjusted down another 0.01, a hundredth of a basis point. So just it's gone down to 0.03. So very, very low expense. The difference in the ETF is that it's not managed, it's passive. It takes a piece of the 507 companies in the S&P 500 and it weights the percentage of allocation to each holding based on its market cap. Okay, so you're getting a piece of every one of those 507 companies, okay, within that one product. So that's basically what you're paying for by paying that low expense is the company, Vanguard, taking that product, lumping it together and providing it in a legally transferable product for consumption by the investor, you, okay? Index funds, I find no difference between index and ETF other than they act a little bit more like mutual funds. I explained this a little earlier on in the live stream, but it's a great, great question. In order of precedence, I would say ETF's number one. Number two is index funds, and I wouldn't even mess with mutual funds because there's so many better options out there. I really just wouldn't touch them, okay? Contrary to what Dave Ramsey says, he's all into mutual funds. That's great and plenty for him. He probably has financial planners behind the scene that are getting a kickback from him getting on and recommending that millions of people go and buy mutual funds. The ironic part that I can never understand is that those millions of people will go out there and purchase those based on his recommendation. Absurd, okay? Don't ever, ever do anything on anybody's recommendation, myself included, without doing your own homework and your own research. I try to bridge as much of the gap as I can for you, but at the end of the day, my opinion on mutual funds, ETFs, index funds is that and that alone. It is my opinion. I just happen to think I'm right, okay? So take it for what you will. That's why you can choose to consume the topic, the Independent Investor channel, or you can tune in to 150 other channels on YouTube, but that's my best crack at that answer for you in my way. But thank you so much, Armin, for coming in, making your way to the channel. Really cool. Thanks for educating us, which we all need more education. You do a great job in your delivery. Corman Bax is very kind. Really try to make that delivery so we can digest the information and validate it. If you can't validate your program for yourself, it's not going to have staying power. It's not going to stick. You know, and investing like anything, whether it be a diet or an exercise regimen, your finances has to be the same way. The misconstruence, I think, is where people think that financial planners supplement that very strategic edge for you. And that is just not true. Okay. It is absolutely necessary that each and every participant in the independent investor community understand their obligation to themselves. Okay, you don't owe me anything. You owe yourself everything. Very, very important to validate the information for yourself. And thank you for that. That's very kind. That's really kind of striking at the root of why we came out with the channel in the first place, to get people thinking about and aware of this particular topic. It's infinite. It's not going anywhere. I just happen to be kind of taking a leave from the channel right now, and that of which I ask for your understanding on. Funny thing is, just subbed to your channel about 10 minutes ago. Cool stuff, man. I got some sharing of some community channels, investment future finances. If you are a financial channel, I'll call you out right now and say, great, welcome to the live stream. Good luck if you are a channel creator. It's awesome to be striking up the dialogue about financial awareness, and I'm all about it, and I wish you all the best. I don't know, you could have a channel with 150,000 people. I don't know. So I don't mean to patronize you from the little channel that could, but I'm certainly one of the ambassadors. I've been around a while, and I don't really care if I have 13,000 or 130,000 subscribers. My message does make an impact. I know it does because this is stuff that I do personally. Okay, I'm not on here just blowing smoke to hear myself talk. I'm actually on here really thinking that this can benefit income levels of all walks of life, races, creeds, doesn't matter. Money doesn't It doesn't discriminate that way. That's really the beauty of it. So there can be people from low-income families that are empowered by this information. That's powerful, baby. It's powerful. Very, very important that everybody understand that. Really cool stuff. Somebody says FUMC. Good stuff, man. I love it. I don't know who's MC. Long bottom, MC. Hi all, my basic strategy, I'm over 50. Fund to max M1, TD Ameritrade Roth IRA 7,000 and max Roth TSP 25. Good stuff. Then into M1 taxable ETFs, dividend ETC makes sense. Yes, we'll end the Roth first. Yep, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Haha, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Just to yours as well. I'm going to check out some videos shortly. Looks good. Good stuff, man. That's really cool. I may cruise in there and see if there's some channel creators that I am not recognizing. I would just ask that you put channel creator or put a little film emoji on your deal so I can actually just separate you guys out of the community, folks. I don't mind giving you a plug on my program. Don't mind it a bit. I'm happy to do it. I wish you all the success in the world. Just don't get bigger than me. So, or I'll block you from the channel. Sound familiar? Jesus, man. Got long bottom. I'm Trina, invest here. Larry Massa says attack the rod. You really do. I've said it. You got to attack the market like it's a war. Very important. Ryan has a video on how to invest $5,000. My perspective on how to invest $5,000 at the time that video was released has probably changed a little bit. I was probably in third gear when I released that $5,000 video, how to invest. I've probably throttled back a little bit in that, you know, you could take 20% of that, take $1,000 and invest it, sit on $4,000 cash. For a lot of people, that conservative approach to scaling into the stock market may make sense for you. Okay, so really want to keep that in mind. I understand we're celebrating the euphoric state of the stock market right now, but what promptly follows after the euphoric state in the stock market is typically a rude awakening. And you're not going to hear me come on here and apologize for getting people excited about the market. There will be people coming from all walks of life wanting to throw stones at me for being like, you told me to invest in the stock market, you bastard, right? Like it's all my fault, you know, and they didn't listen to a word I said about scaling into the market, about starting the cash account, about starting multiple buckets, diversifying your assets, you know, looking into the prospect of real estate, you know, think outside the box, okay? I try to think as far outside the box with my investing philosophy that I can. And I've shown you guys how you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime by just deploying the strategy. That's it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Eventually, we will enter into a recession. We will. And I think it's going to be sooner than later. So buckle your seatbelt and we'll see how tough you are and whether or not you really want to assimilate as an investor. See how tough you are when you don't have that financial planner to call and say, what should I do? Because they're getting called by everybody. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And they're giving the same boilerplate response to every single one of them. Stay long the market, stay long the market, stay long the market. Same thing, okay? If you need that assurance, you can tune into the Independent Investor channel and I'll tell you the same thing. Stay the market, stay the course, stay put, don't panic. I said it during the downturn of the end of last year, and everybody come onto the channel and wanted to just like tell me I'm crazy for investing in the stock market. Okay, all right, yep, I'm crazy. Yep, all right, let's move on. Good luck with your life. Give it a good spanking. But now I have 6,000. That's awesome. Long bottom. I love it. I highly recommend the Vanguard retirement dated funds. I got excellent results in the 401k. I did cheat up more aggressive by always having at least 20% in the fund next out of my retirement target. Robert, thank you for that. That's exactly correct. Hey, long bottom, I would buy ETFs first, then educate yourself about stocks and ease into about 5 holdings. That's a really, really good perspective just from a baseline, kind of an idea of what to earmark for possibilities. So thank you for that. Larry Massa, over time, you want to funnel money from an IRA to Roth and taxable accounts. Pay the tax now, not in the future. I agree with all that. Yep. Riley Griffiths says Army mutual funds are actively managed. Awesome. You're going to reiterate. You're going to hear it different. Riley's really solid, so I appreciate the additional chime in on that answer, because I think hearing it from different perspectives will give you more of a holistic idea of the difference between the mutual fund, ETF, index fund that are available out there. So read Riley's. Thank you for replying to that, Riley. Appreciate the assistance on that, man. Music meanings I have to learn from the ups and downs. Yep, we touched on that already. I'm going to scroll through here. K97, awesome to see you, man. Great friend of the family. Don't forget, would love to see a dividend stock pie for M1 created for you. Even if I don't fund it, please create one. That's awesome. Jesus, I need to start accounts all over the place, man. Jesus, how many? I have like 8 accounts already. That's enough. It's good. I bought Caterpillar and Home Depot 2 weeks ago and lucked up on the timing. Yeah, you bought good. I took profits in Home Depot. I didn't buy Caterpillar. I took some profit today on Honeywell for you guys that are interested in my stock picks. I thought about offloading Valero today. I'm up quite nicely in Valero. I'm up huge in Cisco. Holy smokes. If you guys took my opinion on Cisco, holy smokes. Intel, geez, for you guys that bought in the high 4 or mid 40s, that would have been a winner for you. Not to toot my own horn, but stocks, they go down. They also go up. When you go up, you're a winner. So I don't even gamble anymore. I used to go. I like to go to Las Vegas. I like Las Vegas, but I don't play cards anymore because I can win a lot more, if not all the time, in the stock market, and I control my hand. It's a beautiful thing. Really love it. So, credit card. Hello. I'm investing in VYM. VYM is a good offering. I have no problem with VIM as a dividend ETF. It's great. Not a whole heck of a lot of holdings in there. There's 140 holdings in there, maybe. That's just a guess. But yeah, it's a really good fund. If you want to get dividend exposure, VYM is a great way to do it. Go for it, Night Wolf. I got some reaffirmations of that. Really cool stuff. I bought DGRO sporadically over the past couple of years, and I've had really good luck with it. Kind of shy away from the word luck in investing. You made an investment, you made money, okay? There's nothing lucky about it, okay? If it would have went down, would you have said you're unlucky? No, you just mistimed the buy. That's all. I mean, really, there's an infinite number of ways to make money. Don't apologize for making money. Tell everybody that you made a good stock pick. I'll be the first to tell you that's exactly what you did. So good job. So we don't need to shy away from success in the stock market because eventually, if you do end up getting involved in the stock market, you're going to need to get used to making money, okay? You're going to need to get used to success. Don't apologize. You're going to start to retool that conditioning in your mind where you start to go from, I can't do it, to holy smokes, I am doing it, to holy smokes, man, I can do this, okay? It's going to be a retooling for a lot of you folks, and it is possible for anybody to do. It really is. Ryan, I've been telling everybody about the message. Folks don't believe it. That's fine. Let them not believe it. That's fine. They'll come and they'll realize it someday. I don't know what's not to believe. Okay, you guys know how open and forthcoming I've actually been. And if Mimi's still kind of listening into the live stream, if she's not too busy down in Florida, at home right now, it's getting a little bit late on a Friday, but she's probably still tuning in. But you know, folks like that can attest to me taking open phone calls, you know, doing Skype phone calls with folks, man, with no expectation of compensation. I'm gonna stop doing that, mind you. I'm gonna throw that out there. I don't have the time to do it. And for the multitude of people that have offered compensation, the few people that have come in and expected the help for free, that's really kind of a turnoff for me. I don't have time to do that anymore. So therefore, I have to kind of protect my time a little bit, and we'll be moving away from that a little bit. And I'll be offering it through the channel, man. If you want to tune in, take in, consume the message, no problem. I'm all about it. So I've got Rebecca Livemore in the group. She's a super, super good friend of the channel. Ryan, blogging is what I do professionally. If you ever want to pick my brain, feel free to reach out. I may take you up on that. There's probably nobody I trust more through the channel, actually, than yourself. You've been with me a long, long time. I know there's an aesthetic way of appealing through the website. Like I said, I've secured the domain name. You're willing to kick over there. I believe it says that I've got the site under construction. But I would like the aesthetic piece to get kind of taken care of. And I'm actually willing to pay. That's not the problem. The problem is I'd really like to make the site look professional so I can kind of do what I do best, because I really do enjoy the opportunity to come on and write a piece. I really think that I'd have a lot of fun doing it. And it's just another aspect to the property that I'm not exploiting right now. The Facebook group does really well. The YouTube thing is fun and exciting. The live stream, I really enjoy the live stream the most. But if I could actually account for some of the articles through the blog, I'd really love to do it. Rebecca, thank you. I really appreciate you reaching out to me that way. I hope you're still in the live stream listening and in, because I'm just now getting down to your comment. There's been a heck of a group in here. They're starting to fade away a little bit. There's some folks in here. I got a lot of thumbs up in the group tonight. I appreciate that. That's rocking. It really is. Kind of helps keep the fire going on the channel. Obviously, I'm letting it go on a plane, and that's totally fine. I always wanted to maintain the ability to walk from the channel if I needed to. And I've needed this time. I really have. V&Q, another awesome Vanguard REIT, great dividend ETF. Yeah, so the V&Q is the real estate section. I own V&Q in multiple places. I own it in my Roth IRA, and I own it in the M1 account. And I want to say that my V&Q exposure is about 8% or so, I think, for real estate. So check out V&Q, certainly, if you're looking for that real estate avenue. Again, we're revolving around the tip of the iceberg here with regard to products that are offered out there. So really awesome to be stoking the discussion again on Friday evening. So I'm going to cruise down and make sure that we got all these. King Hughes, thanks for coming in and throwing your question in here, man. You're welcome anytime. Don't ever apologize for thinking you're trolling. I'm a hell of a lot tougher than that. So I'm really, really glad to have you in the group here. Thank you, Ryan. Would it be possible to transfer company to Fidelity to my Merrill? So this question came up today with a colleague at work. You guys would think I just go to work and talk finances all day, but I make time for people. It's not a problem. But you can roll over your account anytime you want. To cost you whatever termination costs that the existing broker have are probably supplemented with an incentive on the receiving brokerage side of the house. And they typically make it so appealing just to make that transfer happen and bring those funds in-house that you can typically come out ahead of those incentives to help out with that. But you may be hit with a little bit of rollover fees on the surrendering broker side, but you may be given some compensation on the other side. They do that because they figure that it's going to be about a wash, okay, when you do affix that rollover. I'm not really sure if you're doing Fidelity to Merrill, what your goal is there. They're very, very good, both premier brokers. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I've never done business with Fidelity, but the pulse through the channel is very, very positive, okay? I love Merrill Edge. I love them. I wish they had an affiliate program. I really wish they did, because I'm bringing millions of dollars to them, and I don't understand why they don't, but they don't need little fellas like me. They don't. The little brokers kind of do. That's beneficial for them to try to reach through the YouTube conduit. I don't think Bank of America wants to touch something like that, in my opinion, and they probably never will. But I'm not changing brokers. I love them. I think they're fantastic. They're really, really good. All right. Victor, yeah, I agree. Depending on your goals, course, that's the case for all of them. Good stuff and discussion within the group. I'm not trolling, asking genuinely. I don't understand. Okay, that's good. That's one sector. That's all one sector, you psycho. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I can't comment on that topic. If you guys want to kick over to some of the other channels, man. I don't know. I'd probably have 150,000 subscribers if I just mentioned that topic through a video. I won't do it. I can't. I'm sorry. I have a threshold of morality that I can't cross. So anyway, big fan of you from the UK. Hey, awesome, man. It's on my bucket list. I've got to get there. I was right below you. I was in France, and I wish one day I'll get there. I'll be spending part of my retirement abroad for sure. I love it over there. I think it's beautiful. But I really want to visit England as well. So it's really good to have you in the group, and thank you for that. How does dollar cost average work? Wow, we get some of those awesome questions hardly anymore, man. I'm really glad that you answered. I'll answer it in two different ways. Dollar cost average is quite simply taking a fixed amount, for example, $25, and putting it away every 2 weeks, every month, on a schedule that you choose. The idea is that you put that money in there month in and month out to buy the market at potentially different times. The market is down, the market is up. The market is down, the market is up. And as you inject those $25, $25, the idea is that you buy the market sometimes when it's low, and you buy the market sometimes when it's a little higher. And if you draw a best fit line in that graph, you're basically going to buy on an average in between the extreme lows and the extreme highs. And that best fit line is what's considered the dollar cost average to your account. Okay. So the amount is really what you control. The inflow to that account is what you kind of control. So that's really what you need to determine, whether or not be 25, 50, 100. Some people dollar cost average at $200 every couple weeks to do 400 a month. Now I'm going to give you my twist. Okay. I don't typically dollar cost average. Right now I'm DCAing the first trade account. I'm DCAing the M1 account, but I strategically buy in my Roth. Okay. So I'm not doing a whole lot of buying right now. Why is that? It's because the market's up every day. All right. If I get a severe red day of 400 or 500, 600 points, that's when I'm going to step in and do a little dabbling in buying stock. Why is that? I've done that for most of the last 15 years of buying the market. And I can tell you, I don't have it quantified how much I've been able to manufacture in my account, but I can tell you it makes a huge difference. Huge. Because over the course of my life, if I always have the fortitude to buy on a red day, which I do, I'm savvy. Okay. I don't need any justification to know why I always typically try to buy on a red day. That over time, I'm always consistently buying the recessed market. So I'm strategically buying my inject points instead of buying on a fixed day every month or every 2 weeks. Okay. That's the best explanation I can give you on dollar cost average. That's exactly how it works over time. It's really just your funding inject strategy. That's it. That's all it is. But thank you for the question. It's awesome. Semper Gumby. Awesome. That was really cool. That was a touching moment. I'm glad I did this live stream for that very reason. Different asset class that behaves differently from stocks. Supposedly it's supposed to zig when the stocks zag. That is true if you're talking about bonds. Semper what? As always, I'm so thankful, Ryan, for all your sharing, all your knowledge with us, and preventing of being victims of the terrorized system about investing in the past, etc. Yeah, I agree with. There's a lot of, wow, Renee, I really appreciate you coming in and offering that. I couldn't agree more with you. I think there's a lot of conspiracy behind it, and that's why I think a lot of the justification behind self-directed investing is err on the side of safety a little bit. You'll notice my posture is always on the defensive side, always having a little bit more cash, okay, on the side. Determining that level of exposure, that percentage of exposure that I'm talking about, is so important. But to make sure that you're not overexposing to the market, I think is key, because if you're doing the program right, all right, and you've got that percentage of exposure set right or dialed in correctly, you're never going to have it perfect, but you're always going to be kind of adjusting a little bit to say, yeah, feel good. I can add a little more right now. Okay, I'm good. I feel good. Or now's the time I just want to monitor. All right, I'm good here. I'm very satisfied. I can watch this kind of adjust back a little bit. Maybe inject a little more when it's down. All right. But yeah, you're exactly right. I think the system is designed to sell a bunch of BS to people, if you don't mind my being frank. And you get me on my soapbox a little bit. I really get upset for people because I feel like for the most part, people are naive, and they may mean well, just super good people, hardworking people that may not even have the time or think that the time necessary to succeed in the stock market. They make it up in their mind that they can't do it because they don't have the time. Therefore, they're justifying those false senses of security by going in and seeking out that service. And it's really hard because the news media inundates that type of behavior. And, people are susceptible. They really are. And I can't believe how susceptible most people are on the money side of the house. So that's what we're looking to kind of combat here a little bit. And I'm not against people making the decision to go with a financial planner, okay? Don't get me wrong. My argument is that shouldn't you give yourself a holistic idea of what your options are out there? If you want to go with a financial plan, for example, a robo-advisor can be good for you. If you want the personal touch, understand the ramifications of that and the charges that will have over your money. Maybe you're willing to incur those fees over time to have that service, okay? But I think a lot of people misconstrue the level of service that they're going to get as a basic client, okay? And that's a lot of the goal, is identifying where that is necessary and where it may not be necessary. I would love to see people just cut the fat out altogether. I really would. Because again, what I said at the top of the live stream 2 hours ago, this game is about money. It's about your money and protecting your money. So why are we justifying giving it away over the decades? Especially the longer you're with that financial program, the more impactful it's really going to be. So you got to be just very, very careful. Once you're too smooth to ride, I'm going to cruise down here. It's usually recommended to taper your portfolio and do more conservative. Thank you, Riley. Couldn't agree more. I'm really glad Riley's been really, really helpful to me this evening. Very, very helpful. A special shout out to you, my man. Very cool stuff. A few decades off, but we'll add a couple tickers to my watch list. It can't hurt to monitor. Monitoring is part of the gig. I'm a dork. I like that stuff. I don't expect everybody's going to like monitoring the stock market, but when I've got a little bit of downtime, I come look at stock. I research stock. I like doing it. It's a lot of fun, man. Did you purchase a second term life additional to the SGLI? I did. And it's through Navy Mutual is the name of the company. They've been around over 100 years. They're phenomenal. Thank you for that, Ray MC. Sorry you had to wait 2 hours for that answer to that question, but I'm so excited with my investments, up 6% since we started them in January. Thank you, Ryan. You're very welcome. Good grief. I just, I'm tickled pink to know you. No doubt about it. You are one savvy business lady. I don't know. You scare me. If I was in a boardroom with you, I would feel humbled. I think me and you in a boardroom would actually be scary, to be honest with you. I think we'd be a force to be reckoned with, to be honest with you. But I honestly don't see you filling any other position but a CEO position in your own company. If you want to make me the CFO, that'd be awesome too, because I'm a financial fella. That's just what I do. But I'm a natural leader as well. So that's kind of another intangible that we're looking to get to for the group here, is empowering people to put themselves into that mindset of reaching higher, and very important. So do you think it's time to sell the S&P at this level? Could be. It could be some time to take some profit from the S&P, especially if you own it passively. It could depend on a few things: your age, your risk tolerance, what your long-term goals are. If you've got a long-term time horizon, great. If you've got less than $100,000, I would say less than $50,000, don't do a thing, But if you're six figures, especially over $500 million in the S&P 500, like, what are you waiting for? That's a rhetorical question you can answer for yourself. I don't have quite $500,000, but I'm getting there. And I've delevered some risk. Man, I'm not screwing around. I don't trust the stock market at all. I'm looking to get out. I've said it many times, use, abuse, and get out of the stock market when I'm older. Maybe keep core holdings in there. That's fine to pass to my kids, but geez Louise, man, don't play. What are you trying to do? Are you getting greedy on this deal? I don't know. Now might not be a time to be in sixth gear. If you're in sixth gear and you want to downshift and take some profits, you're never ever going to hear somebody say, "Man, you're an idiot for taking profits." I sold some stock after hours because I didn't even have a chance to get to it before 4 o'clock today Eastern time. So I sold some stock after hours today. So just to give you some insight of kind of what I'm thinking, man. I don't have the answers. The indicators, all three indicators point to us entering into a bear market recession. So I don't know what else you guys need. I'm telling you the indicators are there. So, just be kind of careful. If you're starting the account, that type of stuff does not apply to you. Okay. I'm not telling you if you've got $1,000 invested and you're up 20%, you're up a couple $100 to be trying to lock in profits at $200. If you're long term, start putting money to cash, save a little bit for a rainy day, good to go. All right. This is the first time I broke the 2-hour mark of my live stream. I'm still going strong. I still feel good, man. So I got a really good group in here. I have 61 people in the group and I have 60 thumbs up. It's pretty rocking, man. Thank you. From Seoul here, man, I get Korea in the group. South Korea's in the group. That's amazing, man. What a freaking cool thing, man, on YouTube to connect the world this way. It's cool, Ryan. You can say my name, what's your take on Noble? Yeah, I'm just pretty heavily levered in energy right now. I think Noble's good. NOBL. I'd have to check that ticker. You're identifying a 0.3 expense, so that's an ETF. I take it. I'm unfamiliar with that. I don't have all ETFs memorized, so sorry about that. I was jumping right to Noble Energy. My apologies. I don't know. 0.35 is a little bit expensive. I think, those spider ETFs roll at 0.10. And really, at the end of the day, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get that 8 to 10% rate of return if you're investing passively. That's what you're going for, So try not to get too creative on accepting a higher expense ratio in an ETF. For the sake of making a few basis points of alpha over that 10% goal. Okay. Don't try to outthink the system. Keep it simple. And the time frame, that's awesome. It feels great. That's good stuff. In and out. Jesus. What a cool group, man. Aloha state of mind. What a good friend of the channel for a long freaking time, man. My shout out to you, man. Great to have you here. Everything hitting new highs has me hesitating to deploy my Roth funds. Any buying at these highs. So you can fund the account and not invest, okay? Just because the money's in there, you can keep it in the money market account within the Roth, okay? So you do have that intermediary stage, right? It doesn't just go in there and go right to stock. You have to tell it to go to stock. I've seen a lot of people misconstrue that step. So you be a little bit careful with that. But if you want to fund it, go ahead and fund it. That doesn't hurt anything. You can hold cash to the side within the Roth IRA account if you want. Okay. Free Alien, I'm very new. If you're new to the stock market, man, don't try to overthink it. Okay. Don't try to do what everybody else tries to do and pick that magic stock that's going to go up 100%. Okay. You'll learn really, really quick that sometimes maybe the best way to invest is just to buy Home Depot. Okay. And I don't mean that to be boring. I wish I could just come onto YouTube and be like, oh my God, I got all the answers for all the penny stock out there. You can make millions. I think a lot of that is, you can, okay, but very few people do. They really do. And I'm interested in scalable principles that the majority, if not all people, if followed, can succeed at. Okay, that's what I'm interested in. All right. Let me cruise down. I'm almost to the end of this live stream, man. Probably the most successful live stream I've ever had, man. This is number 47. We're going on almost live stream number 50. I'm going to start to wrap it up here, but make sure that I got to all these questions. I see Becky at the bottom of the stream here. Also, just a long friend of the channel. Thank you so much. All the best to you. It's great to have you here. I recently started investing in ETFs. That's the way to go. Let me cruise through here. What's your day job? I'd rather not disclose over YouTube if I had the choice, but I appreciate you asking. But right now I'm kind of on lockdown a little bit on what I do for my day job. I apologize for that. If we were backyard in a barbecue, I'd talk openly about it, but there has to be a level of restraint through social media with regard to what I do talk about and what I don't. But I appreciate the hell out of you coming into the group here, man, and I really appreciate it. Yes, Ryan, my company 401k is a Roth. My first trade is also a Roth. Okay, cool. Yep, that sounds good. Ryan, I've invested. Okay, good. Ryan, any thoughts on options? I don't trade options. I like the prospect of them. I just haven't had a chance to educate myself up on them. I've tried a few. I didn't really like that style of investing. Not really into it. If I can get my wife to open a Roth, I'm looking at M1, more of a traditional brokerage guy. But everyone seems to love M1. It's a good platform. It really is. It's good. It's cutting edge. It's revolutionary. Free investing, access to the market. I mean, what else could you want? All right. Don't expect them to give you a massage every day. Okay. That's not the type of customer service. But if you're looking for direct access, free of charge to the market, passive with retirement accounts, okay, the retirement aspect is a good enough reason alone to go with M1 and not Robinhood. Okay. But the partial shares aspect, that should put you right over the top. No doubt. Enough said. The product should sell itself. Again, I just want to make sure that you do the affiliate link. I've taken the time to not only research the platform, but also invest in the platform. It helps support the channel, man. So if you guys bring people into the channel, make sure that they understand that there is affiliate opportunity to help support me in the channel. That's really good stuff, man. Hell, someday it'll probably all go to my kids anyway. So it's going toward a good cause. Ryan, for those of us, the super long-term horizon, 25 years, man, certainly you guys are the audience that really need to hear my message, okay? Not to impugn any other message on YouTube, but if you're, in your 20s, early 30s, et cetera, man, you need to hear this stuff. You need to. Ground truth it against the other information, man. If you can justify other information in lieu of my information, wonderful, okay? But I think you'd be hard pressed to do it if you're truly listening. Okay. Should we be taking gains here on mature positions that have returned 20, 30, 40% plus? Yeah. That's an easy question, man. You bet. I give you the green light to take profits if you're up 30, 40%. You bet. I mean, you're gonna feel like kind of a pig if it does adjust back and take all that profit from you and you didn't lock in some profit. You know what I'm saying? So you bet. I think you're a winner. What are you waiting for? All you got to do is fall over the finish line now. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Hector Mendoza, also good friend, good stuff. And as Jeff Koski, a lot of the best investments are boring. Laugh out loud. That's some real advice right there. So I'm 2 hours and 7 minutes into this live stream, but I just saw Joe Carlson pop in. Here's one of the very last comments in the group. If you guys catch this live stream, Lydia Santiago actually just popped in, and it's amazing. You just got your call out at an hour, 2 hours and 7 minutes. But Lydia and Joe both are channels that I do endorse. And Joe, I think, is probably one of the best channels on YouTube. And I don't say that lightly. I really don't. Really putting a phenomenal product out there. And I think that the whole gig here is about money. And if you want to educate yourself up about money, I highly encourage you to tune into Joe's channel here. I plan on making a video about Dave, just concerned about how much can show of his clips. There's been a little bit of that going on right now, Joe. I don't know if you saw some of the major channels that got hit with some lawsuits, okay? So I would encourage you from a friend to a friend, be careful, okay? Just really be careful. I tend to be vocal. See, there's parts of Dave's program that I do like. I like the debt consolidation piece. I specifically know people that have deployed, whether or not they're single or married, deployed the techniques to eliminate or drastically reduce debt, okay? My problem with Dave is on the investment side and the mutual fund endorsement side, and especially the real estate side. And I'm not gonna say one way or the other. All right, I have my own personal opinion on it, but as far as taking clips and putting it on through the channel, I would just be kind of careful about that. I'm interested in your content, and I like your 30-minute videos. Now, is that the most appealing thing over YouTube? You and I both know that's not, okay? But you're trying to go on and you're actually trying to teach people, which is what I resonate with. But it's not the flash in the pants type of stuff that's going to sell through YouTube. I think your channel's growing really, really good without any type of manufactured. I'd like to see a video come out and just do it in your way, which I think is good enough. I don't think you need to apologize at all. I think your content is solid. I really, you're one of the one channels that I actually watch because I just don't have a lot of time to view a lot of other content. That's just the truth. But yourself and Scribner, I'm reviewing a project right now for Scribner. He just did I don't want to mention too much without giving it away. But he's got a new course on affiliate marketing, and it's really quite good. I'm reviewing that for him. But besides yourself and Nate O'Brien and Scribner, I'm putting you into a class of really elite channel creators on YouTube, honestly. And I'm really glad you popped in. Sorry, it's at minute 2:10. I wish you could have got me a little bit at the beginning of it. I'm starting to lose my voice, as you can imagine. I've been talking for 2 hours straight, man. But keep doing the deed. I think your channel is growing exponentially well, and you're really, really killing it, man. So listen, with that, guys, I actually have an obligation tomorrow morning. I'm going to be volunteering tomorrow. So I'm going to sign off now. I did go for a little bit longer. Another special shout out to Mimi. Thank you so much for that compensation for the channel. Really appreciate it. Not necessary. I offer the information out of the goodness of my heart. Thank you to all the channel creators that came in this evening, Jeff and Lydia and Joe at the end, and some of the new folks that came in, Riley as well, and some of the other folks that I didn't recommend. Next Friday, please differentiate yourself in the group so I can just quickly scroll down and maybe see a film emoji. That way I can pull you out of the group and give you the shout out. I'd like to see awareness grow in the financial world, and there's nothing better than hearing differing opinions about how I potentially approach the stock market. Trust me, if you tune into Joe's, you're going to see how he approaches the stock market. And I resonate with his message. He's got a lot of skills that are, it's not rocket science, guys. A lot of people can tune in and resonate with how he and how I successfully invest in the stock market. And from a relative perspective, success can come to anybody, and it can come in the form of, as little as $20 every couple weeks or every month, man. I used to be there. That's what I started with. And it just takes that success to get going, to start to snowball on itself. But with that, guys, I'm going to leave it for the weekend. Have a great weekend. And we will plan to do the live stream number 48 next Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard. Please bring everybody in. If you want to share it, bring new folks into the channel. Make sure they're descriptive with their questions for me. And with that, guys, I wish you all the best. We will see you next Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys later.